Welcome back to another episode of Breakfast for the Gators, part of the Stadium and Gale network, and presented by our partner, Norris Norris, PA. Norris Norris, PA is out of Lake City, Florida, and they are a preeminent law firm serving North Florida since 1985. And you can give Guy a call at 386-752-7240 if you need any assistance with business law matters, real estate, wills, or trust, and estate planning. Well, happy Sunday, fellas. How's everyone doing?
Not bad. The Houston Texans are out of the NFL playoffs, and the Gators got a top 10 win yesterday. I can't complain.
Can't complain here either. Glad the Texans are out. Glad all our rivals are struggling. It was a real shame to see Tennessee blow that lead to Kentucky. I think it might save Mark Pope's job for just a little longer, which is nice because I don't think they're going to do anything under Mark Pope. And it was nice for the Gators to get a quad 1A win on the road and shoot I think probably best they have all season. So great weekend so far. As long as Indiana can take care of business, I guess tonight when you all are listening to this, then it'll be a fantastic weekend.
A fully successful hate watch weekend.
I honestly kind of forgot the championship game is technically tomorrow night, but with everyone listening, probably tonight. It's going to be a tough watch. So hopefully Indiana can pull through and, like Dev said, a successful hate watch week.
Yeah. I'm a little scared with – go ahead, Dev.
Signetti had an awesome soundbite this week. He said you don't show up to war with warm milk and cookies. Just a psycho.
He also is asked
a little no, go ahead.
He was also asked what would it mean to win, Monday night in the national championship game. He just said it would mean we're national champions. So he's locked in.
I'm a little worried with the line being so big. It just seems like fodder for Mario to get them all fired up playing at home in there. I wonder how much Vegas is baking in the home field advantage because Miami doesn't really own the stadium, and they most of the time don't have fans. I think it was a pretty nice Gator crowd whenever we played down there. But obviously they sell the tickets 50-50, and so it'll be interesting to see how much of a home field advantage they have.
I think I read it was 20% Indiana, 20% Miami, and the rest corporate sponsors.
Yeah.
So
gotcha.
I mean,
I did see a stat talking about playoff expansion. I know we're going to harp on basketball a lot, but I forgot when this date backs till. But for the 5 highest spreads in the college football championship game have been in the last 5 years. And I think one of them was 2002 when Miami was an 11-point favorite of Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. So people can keep talking about the playoffs and bringing the 2 best teams at the forefront come Monday night, but Vegas tells us otherwise with talks of 16 and 24 teams, the expansion happening. Presumably this week, I imagine we would get some sort of announcement.
Yeah, I think I saw that it's the Big Ten pushing for 24 now, and the SEC is holding firm at 12 or 16.
Yeah.
We'll see. The cream seems to rise to the top in these games. You get like I guess you get your upset or your run, but when it comes down to it, the lines of scrimmage and the skill guys that end up rising to the top at the end. I mean, I said it before the season started. I thought Miami's lines of scrimmage were nasty, and I think that that's kind of risen to the top here in these playoffs.
Yeah, but everyone's tuned in to hear us talk about Florida. I think we discussed the Oklahoma win already earlier in the week. So Gators moved to, I think, 13-5, 4-1 in SEC play. So I think we sit alone atop the SEC standings now. I think Texas A&M
tied with Texas A&M.
Okay, did they play Saturday?
Yeah, they went on the road and won. Trying to recall who they beat. But they did. Yeah, they did. So we're both 4-1 buckyball. They went on the road and beat Texas after Texas coming off a big win against Vanderbilt.
It's a good win.
They kind of physically outmanned Vanderbilt. So good win on the road for buckyball in his first year.
After they had just lost to Tennessee in like a double overtime heartbreaker that they probably should have won in Knoxville before that too. So A&M's playing good ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Speaking
are.
of Tennessee, there might be some alarm bells going off. Um, Losing to us, getting crushed, barely beating Texas A&M. I think they were around 10-point favorites there in Thompson Bowling, and then blowing a huge lead to Kentucky. Kentucky back-to-back 15-point comeback wins against LSU and against Tennessee. Um, so I guess Mark Pope will chalk it up as 2-0, but that was a pretty ugly 2-0. And just much to my chagrin, Denzel Aberdeen literally saving their season. Just the most sickening thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, 18 points on like 8 of 10 shooting in the second half. It was
I think the stat was they've won 3 straight games when trailing by 15 points, and it's the first time in program history, or if not the first time in program history, it's first time in a long time that they've had success like that when trailing in league play.
yeah. I
Yeah.
imagine the numbers across the country 3 times in a season trailing by that many points. It's
Much less the
ordering
one
out
time.
off 3 wins and only 18 games played so far. But Gators, big one, 98-94. Our boy Xavier Lee. I know we've had a lot of question marks and concerns about him. The first 17 games of the year, he's had some flashes against some of the smaller opponents. But in the old number 99 jersey, I joked before the game, I thought the manager should get the Leon Orr treatment from Nashville. But it sounds like they need a raise at this point because best game as a Gator was the hero late with about 43 seconds left, hit the step back three to clinch it to take the go ahead triple, and just what a win. I felt like a March Madness type game on the road. Just went to a sleeper environment in Norman. No one was at that game. Then you go into a hostile environment like Memorial Gym. Vanderbilt's coming off their first loss after starting 16-0, and the Gators just responded to every punch. Will, what were your thoughts of the game?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it with just responded to every punch because it seemed like Vanderbilt made every single fadeaway. Any sort of tough mid range jumper that is not the analytically sound approach, they just absolutely nailed them. I think we stretched the lead to like 10 or 11 early in the game, and Vandy came right back and then even stretched their lead. I think it got up to 7 or 8 at one point. And I guess the team they responded so well, and the team last year responded pretty well when they got in huge deficits. The one against Georgia comes to mind, but this team is pretty battle tested when it comes to quad one games, and they've taken it on the chin a couple times, and it just seems like they don't flinch whenever the other team makes a run. Earlier in the year we were kind of questioning who was going to be the alpha to sort of bring the guys in outside of Tommy Houck and just step up and be a leader and hit some shots. And it looks like we had it on both ends of the floor with Xavier Lee. He obviously made the massive 3-pointer, but he had 3 or 4 just crazy layups that he's been missing all year. And I think every single one of them went in. And Boogie Flan defensively just made life miserable on the other end, even though I think Tyler Tanner ended up with 20 points. It was a very well-earned 20 points because Boogie was all over him the whole game. And in crunch time when it mattered, he locked him down.
I was incredibly impressed with Vanderbilt. I thought that every tough shot that they needed to hit, every time we punched them, they didn't back down. They, went head to head, toe to toe with what I thought was our best offensive game of the year. I mean, we said it at the jump. We shot the ball probably better. I don't know statistically if it was our best game shooting of the season, but it felt like it in terms of hitting big shots and big moments that we hit, the Lee shot at the end, of course, but even in the first half at one point, I think we were 4 of 9 and had gotten threes from Condon, Isaiah Brown, and a couple from Lee in the first half. So it didn't matter. They ate our kill shot. They ate a couple 9-0 runs in the second half, and they kept coming back and punching. So you got to tip your cap off to them. And as far as the Gators go and how we look going forward and coming out of that game, I thought that was the best offensive performance we've had all year. I think that both of the guards put together their most complete performance of the year. If you would have had that guard play all season, I think that, we have 5 losses. I don't see any of those games being losses if this is how the guard play is going to be the rest of the year. So left a little bit maybe to be desired defensively, but got the big stops at the end when you needed it. And I think that, like Will kind of pointed out, they hit a bunch of tough twos that I don't necessarily think are replicable if you play them again in Nashville in the SEC tournament. So really proud of the guys. I think that's a huge win confidence-wise to see a game against it's Vanderbilt, but it's an elite Vanderbilt team, a legit top 10, top 15, top 20 type team. So really proud of them, really proud of the way that they responded to getting punched back and winning one of these close games against a big-time opponent.
Yeah, I think we were sitting behind the bench for the Georgia game, and I think it was Blue Cane or somebody hit a fadeaway about 13, 14 feet from the basket. We fouled them, and Carlin Hartman was yelling at them, hey, look, that's a shot we want them to take. And I think we got Vanderbilt to a lot of those positions where we wanted them to take those low percentage twos. Just felt like they just made every single tough basket. So credit to them. And for a team that hasn't shot the ball well, we've scored over 90 points in 7 out of our last 8 games. The lone is the Missouri, where I think we scored 74, but 91 or more points in the last 4 SEC games is a nice product to see. We weren't in the fast break game much. We highlighted that after the Oklahoma game. I think we're averaging like 24, 25 points in transition. In league play, just 2 on the road at Vanderbilt. So they kind of took that element out of our game. So for our guys to score in the half court like that was great to see, and knock down free throws, especially Chin, the 7-point possession we had, which might be a college record and a basketball record. I don't know, but him knocking down all 4 free throws, and then was it Urban or Tommy that hit the 3?
Yep.
To solidify the 7-point possession. Yeah, just a great response in the half-court game by Florida. And in a weird gym where you are 94 plus feet from your coach, half the game as well. God, I hate that gym. Yeah, and you saw where they had Sean Kelly, the play-by-play for the Gators, where he was located to call the game. I would like to go back and listen to that on the broadcast and just hear how he was able to call it, especially with the play on the other end of the floor.
Well, you can guarantee he was chomping that one up for the Gators.
Well, between that,
I love that gym. It's built like the Phillips Auditorium, Phillips Center, where they do Broadway dance performances in Gainesville, and so it's just the most unique, crazy looking thing ever. But like I said, I thought we were gonna shoot our best because it would just be so bizarre. And we did, but I think, Vanderbilt made so many shots. And so I think that really is what contributed to us not being able to get out in transition.
Yeah.
And we were just so efficient, still out rebounded them by 14, crushed them on the glass. And we're just so efficient inside. You had kind of an aha moment in the first half when Ruben he kind of missed a bunny. And I was like, whoa, because he's just automatic from there. And I think he sort of had a rough 5 minutes to close out the first half with, not getting the buzzer right whenever they got the offensive board to take the lead into halftime. But in the second half, he just came in and took over and totally steadied the ship offensively and defensively. And then guards were knocking down shots, shot for shot with them. And it was a really fun Sweet 16, Elite 8 type of game. And it's nice to be on the winning end of those.
You know what it kind of reminded me of, speaking on being on the winning end of one of those this year, was the Kentucky game last year. I think both teams shot better than 50% from the floor in this game. It felt like every shot was going to go in. Maybe not necessarily the 3-point shot making that happened in that game, but just both teams really offensively were efficient, played well. I want to say we only had 4 turnovers in the game.
Vanderbilt had 4. I think we had a touch.
We had 10. They had 4.
We had 10. Yeah.
Yeah. So even that's lower than we've had worse games this year. So the clean, efficient, just a well played college basketball game. I think that I think this is going to go a long way towards the confidence we have going into these games the rest of the season.
I did notice something. Ruben played, I think, a season high 31 minutes. Oddly enough, he's so efficient. I know that he's really been playing like an All-American the last month, and it's hard to tell when you still got those bye games in the middle of December. But we're 1-3 when he plays 28 or more minutes, which is pretty remarkable considering how effective he has been. Protecting the rim, scoring the basketball, rebounding. Just an odd tidbit I saw looking at his game logs.
That is interesting.
It could be sort of the nature of the other people. I feel like if he's playing that many more minutes, it's probably because Condon is in foul trouble
Yep.
or Hand Logden is not being effective, and
Yeah.
so it might just be a product of the guys around him. Because I mean, that guy, I compared him to Oscar Sheboy last week, and I think it's spot on. He just seems to he gobbles up every rebound. He's getting put back dunks. He looks so much more athletic and smooth than he did there. Like now he's even starting to hit the face up jump shot like Al Horford did in 2007. And he doesn't quite look like I was exaggerating a little bit when I tweeted that. Like he doesn't look like I don't expect him to start making, 30-foot threes like Al is doing in the
You exaggerate.
NBA. Me exaggerating. I know who could have seen that coming. But it's just crazy, like he took a jump shot from the free throw line when the score was 92-90 Vanderbilt. And I just can't possibly think that's really the shot we want from there.
Hey,
Nothing but net with confidence, drains it, and then helps make the defensive play on the other end, and we win the game. It's crazy.
There was a point late in the game where I was like, maybe put Chinyelu in there and let's try to get him these free throws at the end of the game to close it out. It ended up being Condon that made the two like icing free throws there at the end. But it went through my mind to say, let's get the ball to Chin. He's shooting him confident.
Yeah, we pointed that out after the Oklahoma game, his free throw improvement. He goes 6 for 6 on the road at Vanderbilt, including 4 straight. He's made 21 of his last 26, and I think is shooting over 70% on the year. But yeah, that 92-90, him hit a game tire with like 2 minutes left. Hey, if they're going to give him that space from the charity stripe, you're already making them, standing flat-footed. Might as well just rise up a little bit and maybe bring out that center and open those lanes a little bit more for the guards. Because I think we had that last year, the driving ability when you had Kondo stretching the floor, Tommy can stretch it. Now, if Ruben can get a little bit of confidence from that 10-foot range, might see a world of a difference.
He doesn't
what do you
look
think
like
if go ahead, Devin.
I was going to say he doesn't look like he's totally sure whether he wants to take that dribble or two or if he wants to just straight up shoot it.
Well, he got called for the charge the first time.
He called for the charge the one time, and then he turned it over.
And
one time
he made that floater on the charge.
Yeah,
he made it.
Yeah, and then he's hit the free throw little jumper a couple times now. So I mean, do what you want, Chin. Give the ball to him and clear out. Let him make plays.
So I'm wondering if Todd flipped his and Condon's spots on the floor, and Chinyelu got 40 wide open threes a game, how many he would make, and if he would make more than Condon has airballed this year.
There was a video this offseason. I remember after the national championship run when he was working out, where he posted a video of him making threes. They were in an empty gym, but he was working on it.
I think Neil Blackman pointed out, and the worst good thing that could have happened at Florida Saturday was Kondo knocking down his first triple.
Yeah,
because he had that green light just flowing, and I think his only other 2 attempts were air balls from beyond the arc, and the Vanderbilt crowd let him hear about it. That's for sure. But good for him.
It reminded me of when Niles Lane would make a jump shot for like the first time in 10 games, and then he thought that meant he now had the green light to pull it from 3 whenever, and it just looked as bad as Condon's does now, and it's ridiculous. But you know what? Those 3 points Condon had there from 3 were very crucial.
Yes, they were.
The Vanderbilt students were going after Condon the way that they went after Noah like 20 years ago, like just giving it to him too. So I was happy for him making those two at the very end.
Yeah, I'd like to look
Speaking
up.
of this, I was going to say real quick, speaking of the crowd, that crowd pop from the Gator fans on the road after Xavier and Lee made that triple was pretty unbelievable. You really, like in college basketball, you don't hear that from anybody in the SEC except Kentucky. And there's nothing worse than, being in the O-Dome, getting your butts kicked by Kentucky, and then you hear the Go Big Blue. And so for the Gator fans to be traveling like that and to be loud and proud, and you could hear clear as day on TV while Carl Ravitch is saying that Xavier quiets the crowd. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, it reminded me when we were at Duke. Similar situation when Boogie hit that three. We had multiple Duke fans telling us that's the most away fans they've ever seen in their arena, or at least it's been a long, long time. So Gator Nation's been traveling well. It helps when you're defending champs. We all know that Gator Nation's everywhere. So if we're in a drivable distance, especially in a road environment, our fans are making the effort to attend and doing a great job.
Hey, something to monitor for March, the much maligned backcourt that has had their struggles early this year in Duke and then in Vanderbilt, the two of the biggest road games against top 10 teams. Both of the guards have made big shots at the very end of the game. That's what you need to win in March. And in those big moments, it's just something to think about, keep in the back of our mind as we get into deeper into conference play and into to the tournament season.
Did you guys see that video I sent about an hour before we started recording? Ryan Hammer, he was in Gainesville before the Tennessee game. He had a little clip on his video where Xavier Lee's talking about we're the most hated backcourt in the country right now. They've had the most underwhelming play so far. Up until the last 10 days or so. But Xavier Lee's like, man, I've got the easiest shots I've ever had in my career, and I'm missing them. At Princeton, I had to work for it. He was kind of a one-man show, so they were able to kind of highlight him offensively, and he had to create shots and make difficult ones. And this year, when you got Thomas Houck and Kondo and everybody else on this team, it allows you to have some easier opportunities from beyond the arc, and he's just missed them. And he acknowledged that, and Tommy was in that video too and agreed it's just kind of a mental thing at this point. So since Ryan Hammer was in Gainesville, Boogie Flan's gotten a haircut. He's played great. That's 3 straight games. He's played well. Xavier now rocking the number 99, which I hope he wears for the rest of the season. That jersey is going to do numbers at spring parties in Gainesville if he starts playing well, averaging 20 a game or at least 15, 16 and plays like the guard that every big program thought he was when they're in his recruitment this past summer. So just an interesting video you guys got to check out after the show.
Yeah.
I'm not going to invoke the Gator boys stay hot yet, but I think that it's fair to say the Gator boys are heating up. I think that's where we're at right now. We don't just throw around the Gator boys stay hot for anybody. I think we're going to be top 15-ish this week, but the Gator boys are heating up.
Yeah. And an important one. I mean, we're in position to win the SEC regular season for the first time in a long time, since 2014, I think. So, we got LSU coming in bottom of the league. Cannot afford to have some sort of throwaway. Their bottom of the league is a little fugazi. They're much better, in KenPom than they have been over the past 2 seasons, and they've been playing better. Just got a road win this past week, and they obviously took Kentucky down to the limit. And even though I take great pride in Kentucky losing every single game, they still do have a lot of talent on that roster, bought and paid for. And so to even, be there when LSU doesn't have that kind of money thrown around right now in basketball, at least, it's an impressive coaching job from Matt McMahon. So keep heating up, Gator boys, but do not burn the chicken.
Yeah, favorable after we go on the road. We got LSU, like you mentioned, Will, and then Auburn at home, who seemingly can't defend to save their life. I know they did steamroll Arkansas at home, who we've talked about and kind of seen. They're one of the top programs in the league, but they can't play away from Fayetteville. Embarrassed in Athens this past week against Mike White. I know they rallied from 16 or 18 down in the second half to tie it, but 11-0 run in that game from Georgia. Got the Dogs a win, which helps the Gators in terms of KenPom with that quad 1 win. But we do need Arkansas playing well as they visit Gainesville here shortly. But favorable schedule for the Gators to take kind of a commanding lead in the SEC regular season standings.
Yep.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the 11-0 run. I saw a stat the other day that Florida is the only team in the country that has not given up a kill shot 10-0 run We get our fair share. We have one against Vanderbilt, but we have not given one up yet this season, and that's just a testament to our defense, and especially when you consider the competition we've played, it's pretty impressive. I think I might have never been right about anything more than I was right about the Gators might break the by this day in world history X profile is have all won the national championship. So hopefully we can make that come true.
Yeah, I think updated Kim Pong. What were we, Dev? 9-9 or 11-11 in offensive and defensive efficiency right now.
Yeah, I think we were 11th in each by the end of the games on Saturday and 8th overall. So just steadily rising. And I think we were a little bit further down in the net. I think we were like 14th or 15th in the net rankings.
You know, it's funny. We saw. I think I saw someone online, or Neil Blackman said on our show. You know, the casuals will see the Gators are 18th or they're unranked or whatnot. Um, but someone in my office this past week was like, "Oh, the Gators play on the road against a top 10 team. Are we even ranked?" Like, I was like, "Yes, we're ranked. What are we, 18?" And I said, "But Kim Palm's got us at 10. Like all the analytical sites still got us as a top 10 team, but you know, not a whole lot of fans are nerds like we are, and a few others that listen to us. But it was hard to tell myself that we do dive into that information weekly and like check it every day.
It's something that I've been kind of saying since probably mid-December after the Duke and UConn weeks, but we're going to end up being a 3 or a 4 seed in somebody's region, and they are going to be pissed about it because there's not going to be any other 3 or 4 seed in the country that has Ruben Chinyelu, Tommy Houck, Alex Condon, and then hopefully Boogie and Lee keep playing the way that they've been playing. There's not there, and the pedigree of being the defending national champions. It's going to really tick off somebody that, you know, whether it's Arizona, UConn, Duke, or Michigan or whoever.
Well, I don't. ESPN doesn't spread this out how I'd like it for, but only 8 of our 18 games have been in the O-Dome, and most of those have been bye type games. Except when, you know, league play started. That's going to pay dividends when it comes to March. We've got that road and neutral site experience. Our guys know what it takes away from home, the travel schedule, all the weird things. We've flown out west twice. We've gone to New York. You know, even I know Norman is a league game, but that's still halfway across the country. So
yeah. Plus, I mean, if you think back to last year, this core, you know, is really battle tested. They had to go all the way out to San Francisco to play Texas Tech. They had to, you know, I think the UConn game was it in Raleigh? But, you know, UConn obviously traveled well for that. And we were, you know, down late and kind of snuck it out. But this group is very battle tested. They're the best 5-loss team in the country.
Well, and we all think about the front court, and we returned everybody from last year's championship team in the front court. But it's 28 minutes in. We should have done this way earlier than this. We have to give our flowers to Zay Brown, who was on last year's championship team, to coming off the bench with 14 points. Incredible game yesterday. We probably don't win without the minutes he gave us. And then Urban Klavjar obviously becoming a valued part of this rotation and being a guy that you can depend on and rely upon to hit a couple big shots every game now. So that to your point, that's 6 guys from last year's championship team. Obviously, we're missing the big 3 in the backcourt that we had last year, but these are all guys that have been through the wars or been there for the wars. So it's exciting going into this part of the schedule and this part of the season, knowing that you got those guys that have been through everything that can get thrown at them.
Yeah, and I think the most impressive thing about Isaiah Brown is, you know, he hits a 3, he then misses 1, and he was a little timid shooting the next triple he got, even though I thought he had some space. One of them he takes with a guy with 4 fouls on him, gets him fouled out of the game with 5 minutes left. I know it's still above the under 4 TO. He had that putback dunk, and I think he had one in the first half where he pump faked, went to the hole, and had a lay-in or got fouled again. So his aggressiveness, we've talked about his athleticism, just jumps off the floor, out of the gym. And he utilized that to his strengths against a Vanderbilt team that probably, has zero real film against him. And if he does, it's probably not the best film. So for him to kind of find his role, that eighth man role in an environment like that is, I mean, that's going to be huge when we get to February.
I mean, he has an NBA type body, 6'4", 210, with that kind of athleticism and that kind of length, and to be able to knock down a couple shots. Like, he went 2 for 3 from three, and so if he's becoming a guy like Klavjar, you could see like teams know that he's going to knock down at least 1 3, and if you give him the wide open second one, he's probably going to knock that one down too. If Zay Brown can start developing that reputation, it's really going to open things up for that second unit.
Yeah, he had a hard drive down the baseline in the second half where he drew that foul. I think it's the one that he fouled out the guy for Vanderbilt. And that's just from your eighth man, especially, that's such a tone setter and a culture type play where you're making the physical drive, you're making the tough play, the gritty play, gets the bench fired up. So that's the exact kind of role that he's carving out for himself. And when he can give you, you don't need 14 points a night from him, but if he can give you that toughness and that attitude and that extra little juice, maybe on a road game, a road environment where you have to bring your own, juice. You don't necessarily need it against a top 10 team on the road, but when you go to Columbia, South Carolina, and it's a 10-8 South Carolina team that you're up against, having a guy that's willing to make those kind of tough hustle plays, it's a valuable role in the team.
I think it's just him understanding the moment with that guy having 4 fouls. You haven't played much or any meaningful minutes majority of the year or majority of your career, and still being in the moment, in that moment of the game, just speaks on, hopefully the improvement and the consistency aspect they've been looking for in practice. Film review, game prep. So hats off to him.
Oh, yeah.
Anything else to dive in about hoops? Micah, not the best game. 5 minutes, didn't record a statistic outside of a turnover and two personal fouls. Checks in one moment, I think kind of late second half, immediately allows a triple. I think it was right above the under 4 timeout. I think we're giving Chin some rest before we hit the 4-minute mark. And so we need some more consistency out of Micah in these bigger.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit, and it's almost it seems like things kind of spiral for him a little bit if he doesn't have a first couple minutes and doesn't grab a couple of rebounds or make a nice pass. Like he can be very effective sometimes where he gets a rebound and kind of dishes to the open guy, and it's like not really a play that gets him points in the box score, but gets us points on the board, and I think it gets his confidence going. But if he goes in there and he immediately commits a foul or doesn't get a tip right or something like that, it kind of spirals a little bit for him, and he tends to struggle. But it's credit to Todd. Todd does not guarantee anybody playing time. Like, you've seen Xavier Lee's minutes shrink until this past game when he started lighting it up, and Klavjar only got 15 there, and Zay Brown actually got 20, and it's because Zay Brown had 14 points and Klavjar he only hit 1 3. But Micah only played 5 minutes is because we couldn't afford to not have Chinyelu and Condon on the floor. And so it seems like Todd has a great feel for who needs to be in the game at the critical moments and for the majority of the game.
Agree. And another just note on Ruben. Oh my gosh. If anyone's watching the Bears game right now,
that was unbelievable.
The game-tying touchdown by Caleb Williams, an unbelievable play on 4th down.
Just dropped back 35 yards on 4th down. Oh, my God.
That was crazy.
Wow.
Ruben.
We were talking about Ruben
Jackson.
Ruben led the team in assists, and, he had 2 touch passes there inside the paint. One, I think both might have been to Tommy. One in the first half, one in the second half. The one in the second half was kind of a quick touch pass alley-oop that got flicked in by Tommy, created an and-one opportunity that we eventually converted. But just not his offensive scoring and rebounding and blocking shots ability. But him with these touch passes has been, I mean, the guy is doing it all. Hopefully he can just maintain this level of play. It certainly seems like it. And the team feeds off him. He's, Tommy's the motor, but I think Ruben's kind of the heartbeat of this team in terms of getting them fired up when they need to be, and just creating that momentum on both ends of the court.
One of the questions that we had early in the season was who was going to be the Robin to Tommy Houck's Batman. And I think I don't necessarily know that's what Ruben is. I still think that you on a night-to-night basis in the tournament, it just you need the guard play to be there. But for him to be as good as he is and as reliable as he's gotten this year on the offensive end, I mean, it's huge for how this team's going to end up looking come tournament time.
Yeah, he's so crucial for just steadying the boat. He did it against Tennessee whenever we were kind of struggling to hit shots. And when Vanderbilt was making their run and they could have extended the lead, we just dumped it into him. And the guy went 7 for 9, and the 2 he missed, I was stunned that he missed them. And that's just kind of the reputation he's built because he's so efficient down low. But he's a champion. He's an All-American. I'm very happy for that dude. I haven't had to be hard on him hardly at all, except for those last 5 minutes of the first half, and he responded quickly. I love a group that responds to tough coaching. This podcast is going to coach the boys hard, and we're going to expect great results out of them. And so far, we've gotten that. So keep coaching them hard, right?
Yeah. Well, Gators come back home Tuesday night, LSU, Saturday, Auburn, 37.
Take care of business.
37-2, our last 39 at home. Dev, is that your – Perfect. Well, hopefully we keep that rolling and come 39-41. But no football talk. I don't think anything happened.
Got the Southern Miss defensive tackle committed today.
Yeah, after the Baylor D lineman committed to us, but flipped to Colorado. So we didn't want him anyways.
Didn't want to play for the patch.
No.
Whatever, man. Line it up against FAU. Summerall is going to have us going crazy.
Yeah. But right now we're focused on soon, hopefully, booking flights to Indianapolis and running this back-to-back. So,
hey, less than a month away from Gator baseball, too.
Fair. Yep. Good point. Yep. I think we checked in at 12 in the preseason ranking, somewhere in that ballpark.
12th on Perfect Game and 13th on Baseball America.
Nice.
Also, I saw Gator softball had the number 1 overall recruit reclassify. And so I'm expecting Oklahoma City every year from Tim Walton, and when he's not, I might be there to fire him. You never know what's going to come out of my mouth.
Hey, gymnastics with a victory over Alabama.
If we're giving credit to the non-revenue sports, you got to shout out to the gymnastics too. Might be the best team we've had since all those other great teams we've had.
I think it was I saw a stat. We were watching it at Dart Bar. I guess that was Friday night. It was our first time against Alabama. We haven't had an All-American on our team since 2013, which is
we're number 1 in the country.
Correct. Yeah. So I imagine we'll have a few next year in next year's meet against them.
Yeah, it is a team sport.
It is.
That's what I've always said about gymnastics.
Well, guys, we appreciate you listening once again. Make sure you're following us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Twitter, Breakfast with the Gators on the first 3 platforms, and at Breakfast WTG on Twitter. Make sure you guys interact with us, and thanks for listening. Go Gators.
Go Gators.
Go Gators.